Hey guys, it's your best boxing friends. I'm Kelsey. This is Rachel. Rachel, all the world wants to know our thoughts on 39-year-old Cuban southpaw, moved on to bantamweight, Guillermo Rigondeaux. Obviously, this is going to get a bazillion views, so choose your words wisely, Rachel. The world awaits. What do you think about Rigo's performance over the weekend?
Well, let's just say this. Do you remember when, Rigo was, kind of all the rage? But, in both senses of that word. So, I feel like there was, a big push for, Rigo to be recognized as the skillful boxer that he is. And it was, you, Max Kellerman, and maybe, his team.
Cliff rolled. Yeah.
Leading this, hey guys, just recognize it. And Max had the biggest platform.
We love Nonito
and really
Donaire.
used it.
Rigo beat the brakes off Nonito during that fight. I know it was a split decision, but he won 9 of those rounds. When Donaire was the fighter of the year, that was the the previous year he'd been fighter of the year. He was going to the BWA awards to get that award, and how they scheduled that Saturday. That Saturday he got whooped by Rigondeaux. And yeah, Rigondeaux was great. Junior featherweight, he's still technically they even mentioned this, which I liked on the PBC broadcast. They mentioned another lineal champion. Guillermo Rigondeaux is a lineal champion at 122. But Guillermo Rigondeaux, because he's never lost that. Nobody ever beat him there. And then he moved up. The only fight he ever lost was when he moved up 16 weight classes to fight Vasyl Lomachenko, right?
Yeah.
And now he actually moved down to bantamweight. And he defeated Solis in a secondary title match. That's great. Here's the thing about Rigo. I know that people don't maybe fall in love with the way he fights, but I think it's beautiful. I love watching him fight. Nobody has better footwork, and especially seeing him now when he's 39. He's still a really great athlete, but he's not what he once was. And the youngest he is 39, right? Because he's from Cuba. But he's still such a good fighter. He can still compete at the various highest levels of the sport, and I just hope now that he's signed and aligned with the PBC that he gets big fights against other bantamweights or at 122 or whoever. Get this guy fights, and if I can add one more caveat, if you want Rigo to be successful, get him fights against guys that are going to come to him and try to make the fight, right? I've seen him in fights. He fought one early morning. It was 3 a.m. over here. He fought some guy in Japan. And, man, that guy just came after Rigo. And that was a fight of the year candidate that nobody saw, right? What happens is they put Rigondeaux in there with guys that aren't going to fully commit. Because you have to commit to go get Rigo or he's going to win 8 or 9 rounds just doing what he does, right? And in his prime, he won just about every round. So the trick is people then would give up because the difference between a Rigo and, let's say, Erislandy Lara, another great Cuban southpaw with the same style, is Rigondeaux has exceptionally great power for his size.
He does, yeah.
And he's more of a pure explosive athlete than Lara. Somebody asked recently on Twitter, Marcus Villagos, our friend Marcus Villagos, you've seen him on PBC on Fight Nights. He's got a channel, hugely popular channel here on YouTube as well, asked who's the best Cuban fighter. He named 4 of them. And to me it came down to Lara or Rigondeaux. But I think it depends what you mean by best. Because if you mean by best, who was the best out of those guys? Obviously, Guillermo Rigondeaux was the best Cuban fighter of the last 25 years, I think, as professional. But who accomplished more? It's not Rigondeaux because he didn't get the opportunities, right?
Well, he doesn't get the opportunities. I will also say this. It's harder at smaller weight classes to get, the same coverage that, Laura could get at a higher weight class. And even Laura didn't get, I don't know. Yeah. To me, I just think
people don't want to fight the Cubans because they're hard to beat and they don't have a good fan base.
I don't know if I have the
fan
knowledge.
Base consists of me and Rachel and sometimes Cliff Rolled and maybe Max Kellerman.
Yeah. So here's the story I make up because I've done no research. I've not dug deep into this. But when I think fighters that come out of Cuba come out with a ton of skill. But
too much skill.
They don't have, if you come out of Puerto Rico, if you come out of Mexico, if you come out of, you have this huge national, it's the nationalism.
Cubans don't have that.
And you're not going to get that with a Cuban fighter. You have to hope that you're going to win over the, the American public to get them to jump on and be like your supporter, and it's hard. It's just hard for that to like happen, especially when you're coming over and we see a lot of Cuban fighters fight in this very specific way that I don't know, for some reason.
I love it.
Kelsey loves it. I watched Rigo Saturday night, and I thought it was like the second half of the fight. I just thought was beautiful. Like I did like it. Now this doesn't. I've seen other fights where it's not been like high action or flashy, and I've been like everybody else and been like bored.
There's something about that appeals to
but like
us.
I don't know what
it
is. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I like it. And here's the thing. Here's a fight. Just to leave you with a fight that does intrigue me. Seriously intrigues me. Is him versus Naoya Inoue, right? We just saw Inoue beat Nonito Donaire in a great fight that people didn't expect Donaire to be competitive in, but was quite competitive in that fight. Well, hey, how about fighting the guy next who beat the brakes off Donaire a few years ago at 122 in a fight that everybody thought Donaire was a huge favorite in that fight, and Donaire dominated that fight. That's an interesting fight because as great as Inoue looks, it's different if you're in there trying to hit Rigondeaux, and on top of that, have to worry about what you have coming back to you from Rigondeaux, which is seriously powerful punching.
Yeah, there's so many fights I'm interested to see Rigo in, and I wonder if maybe he's a little bit past his prime.
He's definitely past his prime. He doesn't look like the fighter he was 5 years ago.
That maybe he'll get those fights now.
Hopefully, yeah, and he still has a chance to win them. You have an even better chance to win your life right now by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Once you subscribe, now this is actually verifiable, fact, data-driven analysis. Once you subscribe, like, comment, and subscribe to Real Talk with Kelsey and Rachel, your life changes for the better.